So we're jumping back now into Elaine Cottam's testimony following Statement Gate. I didn't write it. To have a look at the analysis of the call logs. And she says that it's not the kind of thing that she would have got involved in at all, yet there seems to be a number, at least two that we've looked at so far in the following testimony, that have her name on it. She is just trying to backtrack a little bit, but it's quite interesting that actually her involvement seems to go deeper and then is omitted from her witness statement to the court. Let's jump into the inquiry.
Let's just look at the analysis of the call logs. They start at page 118. It's going to come up on the screen for you.
Yeah, I've got them all here.
Can you see a reference number is given in the first column?
Right.
The status of the call, whether it's closed or open, is given.
Yeah.
Priority and severity is rated. When the call was open and closed is given.
Yeah.
Which FAD, which branch or site,
Yeah.
etc. And then on the right-hand side, two columns in, is the problem text and then the closure text. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Did you prepare this?
No, I would never see these. No.
So she can't possibly have analysed them then?
Never seen them until I got this bundle.
Can you help us as to how it came about that there's a witness statement to the Blackpool County Court in your name and signed by you as true, which says, I prepared this analysis?
No, I can't, because I don't ever remember seeing it. I mean, it was a long time ago. I may well have done it, but I really don't. I just wouldn't understand it.
I mean, there's differences there between not remembering and would have never seen it. If you've never seen the witness statement, then it would be impossible for you to sign it. But I'm guessing what she's saying here is she's struggling to remember, which is fair enough. But nevertheless, this witness statement was submitted for a court case against the subpostmaster.
Okay, I'll take those down then, please. Can we go back to the statement that you provided to this inquiry, WITN, it'll come up on the screen for you, WITN 0953-0100. And it's the second paragraph from the bottom. Against para 4, that's paragraph 4 of our questions to you, where we'd ask you whether you had any direct involvement with the help desk. You said, I don't remember having any direct involvement with the help desk.
No.
And by that, did you mean that you may have had involvement with the help desk, but just because of the passage of time, you may not now remember? Or
I don't remember.
Or you don't think it's the kind of thing that you would have got involved in?
I don't think it was the kind of thing I would have got involved in, because I'd never used Horizon. So I didn't know how to use it. So if they were asking questions about it, I wouldn't have been able to answer.
Okay.
That's not necessarily great if you're the point of contact for someone, but I'm guessing she felt the help desk was the one who was really the point of contact for Horizon-specific issues.
Can we just look at some documents then, some underlying material, to see what the position was back in 2000? And the purpose of me asking you these questions, just so that you know in advance, is when we come to the suspension and termination decisions, I want to ask you some questions about your own personal knowledge of problems with Horizon and the extent to which that was brought into account in decision making. Okay? That's why I'm asking you about these issues. Can we start, please, with FUJ 0012-1216? FUJ 0012-1246. I'm sorry, Mrs. Cottam, there's just a delay at this end in displaying a document.
Okay.
Thank you. And can we expand the top part? Can you see this is a record of a call? It's to the Horizon Helpdesk, opened on the 24th of February 2000 and closed on the 1st of March 2000. Can you see that at the top there?
Yeah.
And can you see the caller is shown as Mrs. Tagg?
It is, yeah.
And that's you and your maiden name, is that right?
It is, yeah. I don't remember making that call, obviously. It's so long ago.
And the problem text that's recorded is couldn't print due to a session being suspended last night. has rolled stock unit and the office into the next week, rebooted to clear the problem.
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't have done that though, because I wouldn't have known how to reboot or roll or. Well, would have probably what happened, but I personally would not have done that.
And so why would you be calling in the help desk?
Why would I be calling them? To ask them how to do whatever it was they were doing. But I would get the subpostmaster to do it.
But this is you calling in. Why would you be calling the help desk?
Because I would have been at the office trying to help them sort out whatever it was.
Why wouldn't the subpostmaster call in?
Well, she probably did.
No, she didn't, you did.
He did. We were looking for some advice from somebody.
So did you just say, or he did?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Was that slipping into the suspicion without proof thing again?
Well, I wouldn't like to say.
No, but you just did.
Well, I'm sorry.
She did, to be fair. She keeps bringing it up. I think that's the third time she's brought up the husband in all this. But nevertheless, I mean, clearly she has some direct involvement with the help desk because she's the one making the calls, whether she's there and asking the sub-postmaster to do it or not. But she's kind of saying it wasn't my responsibility because I didn't do it. I wouldn't have known how to do these things. And that's why I was calling the help desk. I mean, she was intrinsically kind of aware and extremely interested when the call logs seemed to suggest Mr. Harrison's name were on the call logs, but she seems less like she wants to scrutinise why her name is now appearing on some of the call logs.
I did.
Anyway, this is a record of a call made at 8:05 in the morning by you. And I'm asking, why would you be calling in?
Because they probably would have rung me and said that we've not been able to roll over and what can we do? So I only lived locally, so I went. I must have gone.
Okay. If we look at under all of that black and grey text into the call activity log, I wonder if it can be highlighted. First line, new call taken by Andrew Abernethy. Couldn't print due to a session being suspended last night. Has rolled the stock unit and the office into the next week. Rebooted to clear the problem. And then 4 lines on, she would like this investigated as the gateway needs rebooting about 3 or 4 times a week as it keeps freezing, can't touch anything on the screen, no hourglass spinning.
Are they saying I said that? Because I don't remember saying that.
I wouldn't expect you to remember 23 years on.
But I don't think I would do that. I don't think I knew how to reboot. Or but if that,
I mean, the hourglass spinning issue that's raised is, like they were saying, they weren't seeing an hourglass, which you would have expected to see on Windows at the time if it was busy doing something. So that would indicate, like they said in the problem text, a freeze versus the computer just being busy doing something.
That's what they say. I can't.
So this is the first record that I can see of you being recorded as calling in and raising an issue or complaining about a Horizon system fault or problem. Your present recollection is that you don't remember ever doing that, is that right?
If I don't remember it, but it's likely that I would have gone and tried to sort something out for them. But I can't say I remember that on the 24th of February, year 2000. No, I can't.
Okay, let's go to FUJ 0012 1296. Again, there's a problem displaying the document, so we may have to wait a little bit. Again, if we can expand that a little bit, please. Can you see this is a record of a call made on Friday, the 31st of March, 2000 at 5:35 in the evening, and the caller is Elaine Tagg, the RNM, the Retail Network Manager. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
And the problem is recorded as the system keeps crashing and is doing 3 or 4 times a day and is getting worse. They've had several base units installed, but the problem persists.
Sounds like the problem's not with the base units then, and kind of flies in the face of claims, 10 years later, that Horizon is really robust. because it's gone from crashing 3 or 4 times a week to now crashing 3 or 4 times a day and getting worse. Not very robust at all by the sounds of things.
Yes?
Yeah, I don't remember making this call. I don't remember making this call. I might well have done, and if that's what they said and my name's on it, fine. But I don't remember it.
That can come down, thank you. The first call record we looked at was very shortly after the system was installed, a fortnight or so. And then this one was a month later, with, on both occasions, you being recorded as system crashing 3 or 4 times a week, gateway needing rebooted.
I don't remember that. I wouldn't know what gateway rebooting meant.
When you came to make decisions about suspension of Mrs. Wolstenholme in November, would you have taken into account your knowledge of problems with the system that you yourself had reported?
We would have taken into account that the system, they were saying the system wasn't right and this wasn't working, but that was not the basis. The basis, if I recall correctly, the basis of why the contract was terminated is that they refused to use the Horizon system and they refused to repay the losses.
Well, if you didn't believe a loss had happened, why should you repay it? If you believed that the system was fundamentally faulty and was throwing you, literally under the bus, then I could understand wanting to refuse to use it. But, of course, they were saying that Horizon wasn't working because it appears that was exactly what was happening. But it's not just that they were saying it, you were saying that Horizon wasn't working properly. In at least 2 separate calls, you've identified the system crashing. So whilst you might not understand what rebooting the gateway means, she clearly understood what a system crashing meant and conveyed that to the help desk in the calls that she made on behalf of the subpostmaster.
And they refused to use the Horizon system because it kept crashing and needed rebooting, and it was giving them problems with balancing and shortfalls, correct?
I don't know if that's correct or not. That's what they said, but I don't know that what they said was correct.
Well, but you do, because if we look at the previous call logs, one seemingly days after installation, you were saying that the system is crashing. So that means that you do know that it's crashing. And it wasn't like from day one, they just said, oh, the computer's crashed once, because, computers still crash quite a bit now, but they used to crash a lot more in those days, definitely. But they weren't saying, oh, we've had a problem with it, we're refusing to use it. This was after months and months of issues that were reported, as it says in a witness statement, whether she wrote it or not. And literally, presumably by this point, they were being accused of stealing money because you were saying they were refusing to pay back the shortfalls, which must have meant the post office were accusing them of having shortfalls. So if there is a system which is literally making you out to be a liar and a thief, and you're asking for help with problems and no one else appears to be able to solve it, not even the technical help desk that's designed to resolve these systems, then it's a pretty reasonable response, isn't it? Say, I'm not using that until you fix it.
If we just go back to your civil statement, poll 0011-8219 at page 8, on paragraph 12, you said Mrs. Wolstenholme persisted in telephoning the HSD, yes?
Yeah.
You don't refer in this statement to any of the calls that you made to the Horizon Helpdesk, and instead seem to give the impression that this is Mrs. Wolstenholme persisting, i.e. perhaps unnecessarily bothering the Horizon Helpdesk. Is that correct? That was the impression you were trying to convey?
I wasn't trying to convey any, that's what she did.
You only speak in this statement about Mrs. Wolstenholme phoning in, and you use the word persisting, or she persisted.
Mm-hmm.
You don't refer to you calling in, identifying problems.
Well, I wouldn't have been there every time the problems occurred.
No, but you were there some of the time and you made some of the call logs, so it's quite notable that you would omit these from said witness statement.
Would there be any reason why you didn't refer in this witness statement to you reporting problems about Horizon to the help desk?
No.
Can we look, please, at F?
Well, we may surmise that you almost would want to potentially pin this all on the subpostmaster rather than acknowledging that whilst not there all of the time, which is understandable, that you were there at least some of the time where these very system crashes were happening.